allowed like a comfortable freebie, have they?
Yeah, and if you want proof of that, it's that Jack Hasmo's on $50, Estill is on 100. The money has definitely been pressured by Imperial, but problem is, in the grand scheme of things, you're going to need rounds. Now, Passion playing a bit of a split setup. You've got one prong all the way in ramp. 3 players about to contest on middle. There's a smoke deployed on mid as well to start ushering them in towards connector. Or do they opt for short? That's the big question. At least that's going to allow them to creep up connector if they choose to do so. Quick pop of the nade to try and get a little bit of extra info. Actual destination has to be A, though, to account for the ramp player.
Anna. Oh.
That's a big miss.
Missed shot. Yeah, that's an awkward time for it. Zaz will go down, but a lot of damage. Gelt, 23. Just puts one more bullet into Zerofix. Makes it easier for Tori, but now needs the double. She won't connect it. Anna misses another shot on the cross, and I think that was probably her day's numbered. Timing is just, impeccable. But yeah, sandwiched in like that, there was no escape.
There were 2 moments there where Anna could have just put her foot down, right? The first kill that could have come through in ramp, and then nearly an attempt to find a second one. It was a really good adjustment from Topa to deny Tori getting any more ground, but yeah. I feel like just missing those first couple of shots just means that Anna can eventually get sandwiched in, and Passion Yue take full advantage of it. Now, Imperial, back down to the pistols. You still have Tori, who's on an M4. You know, makes sense for her to have it, because she is the one going 9 and 4 right now.
A very good start to this map, and a good start to the day. Exactly what you want to see, considering what we were talking about at the start of this in the pre-game, saying she had a really, really slow day yesterday. Needs to step up more here, and doing so might just be that edge that Imperial Valkyries need. Let's get the ball rolling. Early trade, not too bad at all. 5-7 going 1-for-1 in ramp. Tori's got a good position here.
Passion about to exit from ramp. They've got a big advantage with the weaponry, and Jack Hasmo is going to show us exactly why. Tori, though, putting that M4 to good use. The fact that they find the middle player does also mean that they have a fighting chance because they've got weapons, but Zerofix is getting ready to take it to their backs with his fangs. And he will do exactly that. Cat, though, a 1v3 Desert Eagle in hand and can potentially isolate these players. Sees the head. Hang on. Doable. Sees the shadow, but just cannot capitalize. Topa, no trouble getting the kill, and does get a bit of money sprinkled on top as well with the bomb.
Yeah, they've done well to just keep a lid on things here. When you lose a couple of players early like this, you go into the 3-on-3. It's a little bit scary, but sorry. Just a deer in the headlights there in connector. Worried about someone. I don't know. I think she was sort of looking towards lower mid, or maybe trying to grab the gun, something like that.
The issue is that they wouldn't expect a second player in the form of Zerofix to be there because they already dealt with the initial mid presence, right? Because beyond that, you're just expecting like a 1-4 setup to come through from A, and it just doesn't work out. The fact that Passion only sent 3 players barreling down ramp, it catches Imperial off guard, and now that that has worked out, Passion can start to feel a little bit more comfortable on their T side. Imperial being thrust into the rest of this with only 2 rounds to show for it. Passion, of course, looking to bolster the scoreline even further.
Well, they will be up against the big guns now, and it does feel like they've been really tested against the pistols, the ecos, and whatnot. So, I'm excited to see how this one goes. Banana with the AWP again, just teetering through the smoke, wanting to support 23, but doesn't feel confident to do so. It's a major commitment to play through those clouds, so instead backs it up. Her teammates will fall, and now a 4 versus 2 retake. HG will blow the smoke open. Tori with a big pick, but Anna still just battling with this smoke grenade top con, and she will lose that fight. back off, go and save. The big threat, though, is this flanking from Jacasmo. He's on 3 HP, but he surely won't be suspected.
Yeah, that's just a lost cause at that point. And of course, it's in her best interest to make sure that this AWP is going to make it into her hands in the next one as well. She's not going to have any trouble with that, but dude, the scoreline is just too far ahead now for Passion. And, you know, I felt like the day was starting off really strong for Imperial. You had the firepower, you had a couple of rounds for the back and forth. We all remember the pistol, but now Passion are way further ahead.
Yeah, they certainly are. It feels a little bit reminiscent of that 9 Pandas game yesterday, where, you know, the first sort of 5 or 6 rounds were actually really competitive and going back and forth, and then Passion, not Passion, 9 Pandas, just sort of found their footing, took the reins, just run off with it, didn't they? And we are seeing remnants of that here, perhaps the same script. Retakes. Volley into sandwich, clears it out, no one's home. Anna on stairs instead, and Zaz up on the balcony. Sells a pretty good distraction. The crossfire's good, but she can't escape.
Oh no, pulling out the nade though, that means that she's caught eventually by the spray. A 2 versus 3 on the retake now. Passion, all they've got to do is just hold on to their horses. Not much to do. The ball is in the court of Imperial, and Cat is already getting started with ball. Gets the info on the jump spot. Zerofix sees the barrel, so he's going to have a huge advantage against Anna. Pulls out the util and gets punished for it. Cat splits the bomb site in 2 with the smoke. AK-47 in hand. Can isolate this into 2 duels, but the nade is just insult to injury.
It's going to make it 8 again, another round that actually starts off well. Imperial take the early advantage. The problem is Zaz was just sort of begging for a lifeline there, desperately needed support. Wasn't really able to receive it. Anna, round after round, is finding herself just stuck behind smokes, right? Posts up on an angle with that AWP, gets smoked off, but doesn't really know how to go about it.
This is where Passion just go into deathmatch mode, right? Because they're winning by a huge margin. They're just up against pistols. All they've got to do is just essentially run them down. Short seems to be the play here. At least that's what they're gearing up for based on where the B Apartments player is going. I think Tori might try and get cheeky around the smoke, but that's really the only real contest that they're going to try and offer. As the smoke's fading, maybe we'll see something.
You expect Clem to do his magic here. Zerofix will find that first pick in window at least.
Oh.
Shouldn't be tested. Spots
Clem
the
knows
foot.
this is a
Yeah. Should be able to get both. Having a bit of a hard time with it. And switching to the Glock means that Anna can hit the Deagle shot. Herself an AK in the meantime. This short fight's important. Look out the Kevlar. You see the aim punch just a little too much. Nice shot, Cat. But Jacasmo back the other way. Passion on to 9. Again, they're tested against the pistols. They take a lot of damage. But it is still a round that they maintain control of.
The story for Imperial has just been a couple of nice shots here and there, but nothing actually coming onto the scoreboard. You were going to say?
Yeah, it feels like, you know, Imperial are actually consistently finding these early advantages and, like, finding these opening trades. And it does feel like Passion are sort of very disjointed. And, you know, individuals going for early fights and whatnot, it constantly is coming down to, like, a 3 versus 3. And then when it's in that 3v3, they just lock in and say, okay, right, let's not lose this round, guys. And then they push it up and trade off of each other and, you know, close it out. And that seems to have been the theme of pretty much the entire half.
The late game firepower advantage is truly showing. And that's pretty much all I can say, right? Like late round, even when Passion have a disadvantage, it feels like up until the point where Imperial's homework can help them, it does. But then when it comes down to the brass tacks, when you have to take those fights, Passion are just outgunning them. Shot from Zaz though. Decent opener, but instantly traded. Maybe not in the traditional sense of the word trading, but kill does happen elsewhere. Ooh, nice shot from Anna. And that suddenly gives them a legitimate in back into getting around. Anna watching for action and connector.
Wow.
Nasty flick onto Kvem. Those are some hard shots to be hitting. But Topa is still alive. Bomb's left all the way back,
shot.
and Cat's going to be discovering it soon.
I don't know how it wasn't a headshot, if I'm honest. Because it was really only the neck and the head poking over. But nonetheless, 1v4 here for Topa. It is, of course, a round that he will go for. It's the final of the half, and Imperial are looking for that third. But yeah, with the bomb in such an awkward spot, I don't even think he has time to grab it and go back to B. Yeah,
Or
he
any bomb
definitely
site for
doesn't.
that matter.
Yeah, so...
I love how Cat recognizes this and just backs off. Like, she knows that there's no point in giving up